You can't learn comedy. You've probably heard people say that. It's a pretty standard response to any kind of comedy school or comedy class. But the reality is, of course, you can learn comedy. You'd be hard pressed to find a comedian who looks back at their career and thinks they haven't learned anything in that time. The weird bit about that, when you put it in the context of other performing arts, it's very strange that comedy is the only thing you can't be taught. If you're a trained actor or a trained dancer or a trained musician, it's actually held in high regard in most performing arts. But for some reason in comedy, you can't be a trained comedian. And I think that's because we like to believe that comedy and our sense of humour is so integral to our personality. We like to believe that our sense of humour is vital to who we are and what we're about. So the idea that you could learn that is something that people aren't necessarily comfortable with. Most comedians learn on the job. They get up, they give it a go, they try things out. It works, it doesn't work, and over time they work it all out. But the reality is there's been a lot of comedians. A lot of people have been up there, a lot of people have done it. And guess what? They've already made the mistakes. They've already learnt the tricks. They've already found ways to do things and make things successful. So why wouldn't you want to learn from people who have already done this stuff? Why make the same mistakes over and over again when they can be easily avoided because they've been done before? Saying you can't learn comedy is like saying you can't learn to juggle or you can't learn to play the guitar. Okay, so some people are obviously going to have more natural aptitude than others, but you can still learn the basics and see how you go. You can learn by reading books, you can learn by watching other comedians, you can learn by doing a comedy class, doing an improv class, doing whatever you need to learn. And there's nothing wrong with learning, it makes you a better comedian. So don't be afraid to learn, whether you decide to do that by getting on stage and getting it wrong or by doing it through a comedy class or a comedy course or a comedy book. It doesn't matter. Whatever your process is your process. It's all about getting where you want to be as a comedian.